I was originally a fourth grade teacher, instructional coach, and I had the mindset of like everything is just an advertisement. My job was to take content that is so boring that like a school-age kid would not want to learn about, but like by law, you're forced to teach them showing up on video. I did get way more engagement.
REVB podcast coming at you via Zoom, StreamYard, internet. Katie Day with my co-host Tim Macy. We are excited today to dig into the intricacies of building your personal brand, finding the clients that you want to work with on Instagram with none other than Shannon Mangin. What's going on?
That gave me like 90s trailer vibe right there, where it was like, on today's podcast, we will have the secret to finding more deals and more clients from Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
Shannon Mangin.
I felt like there was welcome, Shannon. So I hope I don't disappoint. I was like, that was a really like drawn out intro for me. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you because we had you at REVB. You have a class in Real Academy that you're doing. And I don't know if you know this, Shannon, but people like hearing from you. They like to hear about what you've got going on and what you're doing. That was one of the things we got after REVB was like, hey, I want to hear more from Shannon. So we had to get you on the pod so we could dig into the questions and you could share more of what's working in your world. So we're excited to have you.
All right. Well, let's start. What do you got for me?
Shannon's like, so what? How do you want me to speak now? All right. So people know you today. Most people who do know you today know you as like, you make funny videos on Instagram, you make educational videos on Instagram and things like that. Can you walk us back in time? Take us on a journey. When did you get into real estate? You and your husband, Tyler, work together. So maybe touch a little bit on that, but like, what's been your journey to getting to kind of where you are today?
Sure. So I started off as a teacher. I was originally a fourth grade teacher, instructional coach, and then I switched into real estate in 2017. And did okay my first year or so. It wasn't really doing anything on social media. I attended a Tom Ferry event like in 2018 or so, and I just heard him say that you need a business Instagram account. If you're a realtor, you better have an account. And I was like, okay. So I signed up. I didn't even know there was a business account. So I got one, but didn't have much other guidance than that. So I just started posting like what I was already doing personally, just pictures and stuff. And I had the mindset of like, everything is just an advertisement. And because when you first get your license, what you're told is you need to let everyone know you're in real estate, especially if you're new. So I was just kind of like, okay, look, I'm selling a home. I'm at an open house. I'm doing this, whatever. And it was just, lots of advertising. With coaching, guidance and stuff, I've kind of learned like it's about content producing, which is different than advertising, and building a relationship with audience and everything like that. So that helped a lot in my journey. My husband joined me in 2020. And that was really kind of where I started like my transformation into videos, because when everything shut down in 2020, I realized I'm like, okay, there goes open houses. There goes my listings. Like a lot of stuff in our career just kind of stopped, and my husband had just quit his job. So it was pretty stressful. And so I was like, all right, I got to start putting my voice out there. And at that moment, Tom Ferry was like, you need to be on video if you're not on video. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do video. And again, I had no idea what I was doing. I still feel like I'm trying to still figure things out, but that's where I like got some help. And I would say my account started transforming, and it actually became like a lead source for us.
So tell me about those first couple videos you made. What did starting look like on Instagram?
So it was my husband holding a camera, because I didn't even have a tripod or lighting. So it was like dark lighting. Now I've got like different colored lights in the background and stuff like that. So it was just me with like a boring sheetrock wall, and like my husband's just holding a camera there. And it's like, I was like, okay, I'll talk about the market. And I think at the time, that's what the coach was saying, is like, hey, let's talk about like what's happening, calm people's nerves, and, just talk about what you're doing. So they were long, like 2-3 minute videos, just kind of like filming that. And I was trying to do some basic edits myself. And they were so bad. It was like newscaster style, very uptight and serious. I even got like a little newscaster bar across the bottom that was like market update, like Austin.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Which I was proud of at the time. I was like, oh, look, I figured out how to do that. And so that was it. But just even with those videos now, they're like so cringy. I still would say that just by putting my face out there and by doing something different and showing up on video, I did get way more engagement. So even those horrible videos still had like likes and people were like, hey, Shannon, from friends and family and stuff. So there's definitely power there of even like if the video is not the best quality, just the fact that you were on camera is such a better connection than just doing the little clip art type photos that look like ads. So if you're scared of doing video, you just got to get out there and do it and you'll get better over time for sure.
When you said that look like ads, I thought you were going to say something else that starts with an A and ends with an S that sounds similar to ads. And I was like, damn, like Shannon is normally so like
She's bringing
very
the fire.
proper. I was like, man, she's just
spicy on the
around you guys too long.
coming down to my level. It's fine. No, I think that it's awesome that you just jumped in, right? I think that so many people take so long to do the things and you're like, I heard that I do this, so I'm going to go try it. And so I love seeing the evolution of your content and seeing how things have changed. And so I know one of the things that was big for you was like, you were doing all this content, you were doing the market updates, and then you had kind of the turning point where you hired a consultant, right? Basically to like kind of revamp your Instagram a little bit. And so can you talk through that a little bit of like that exercise, some of the things that y'all talked about and the realizations you had about like how you were presenting to the world?
Yeah, so I started, like I said, in 2020. Reels came out a little bit after that. Yeah. So you can forgive me for the long, the long video things. All of a sudden I was like, oh, there's shorter ones here. And so I started seeing people do like silly stuff, whatever. So I was like trying different things, but I had no real focus. So it was kind of like a hodgepodge of all different stuff on my page. And so I ended up still getting a lead, like a friend of mine that bought a home from me from Instagram that year. And then like another lead I picked up. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. And so I just was like, I need more help. And so I was following a blogger's account that was like a local Instagram influencer. She had a big foodie account that I was a fan of. And all of a sudden she's like, hey, I'm now going to do coaching sessions for influencers and people that want to grow. And so I signed up to have her audit my page. And the reason I picked her was because I feel like real estate coaches, a lot of times they all say the same thing. And I was like, I just want to know from a local Austin homeowner, would you pick me to be your real estate agent if you found my page, just stumbled across it on Instagram? And so I paid her a good amount of money for that. And she's like, all right, let me look at it. I'll get back to you. And so her basic answer was like, no, I would not. I was like, okay, here's $1,200. All right. Tell me why.
Tell me more.
Yeah, tell me why. And so it was kind of eye-opening to hear it from a non-realtor, because other realtors would be like, oh, it's so great. Your video's cute, whatever. And she's like, I don't really get like who you are, your personality or anything. And she's like, a lot of your stuff is very self-centered. It's like all about you and not about like, the audience. And I was kind of like, what? Because I'm not, if you know me, I'm not
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like a very giving person.
You're like, I did my market update. I did that for others. I didn't do that for myself. Like you feel like you're doing it for yourself. But what's the thing she was getting at?
She's like, everything is like, look, I sold this. I did this. My clients just got this deal. And she's like, everything's first person. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. A lot of my stuff was like, even the captions were like, we just got another sale. We did. And she's like, tell me about the person. Like, she's like, I don't really relate to you. I'm not getting your personality. And then she goes, who's your audience at? Like, who is your audience? And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't really have an answer to that. I was just like, well, we work in Austin. She's like, with buyers, sellers. I'm like, both. And she's like, all of Austin. I was like, sure. Like just the greater Austin area. And she's like, I live way over here. And we found out we lived almost an hour apart from each other. She's like, way out east and way out west. She's like, ideally, would you want to drive there? And I was like, ideally, no. Like, I'd like stuff more, in my area. And she's like, I don't know that. I don't know anything about like who you're trying to attract or whatever. So she helped me realize, like, kind of narrow down your audience and you'll attract more people that are in that audience. It kind of seems reverse. You think, go big, I'll get more people. But she's like, if it's too broad, no one's really listening. So it needs to be like more honed in, and then you're going to get the people that you're actually trying to attract.
So I have a question on that one, because we always talk about that, right? Like, you need to know who your avatar is, or you need to know who your target audience is, or whatever you want to call it, right? Who your ideal client is. That's who you want to talk to. Mm-hmm. But then people are like, well, what about the other people? What about like, you know, if you focus at, you know, Hill Country, West Austin, things like that, like if someone had a condo in downtown that they wanted to sell, like maybe they wouldn't call you, or like, do you still get clients that are in other areas?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and sometimes it is funny though, because my ideal client is someone more towards the west side of town, towards like Travis, and I put that we're selling suburbia in the Austin Hill Country, so it's kind of like all the suburbs. We do sell in Austin. It's not like what I'm trying to do. It's like I'm selling mostly Lakeway, Dripping, you know, that area. But I will even get agents that are like, "Hey, I have a referral for you. It's a friend of mine. I know you take good care of them, but they have a lower budget. Are you okay with this? It's like, you know, 450. I know you sell higher end homes." And I'm like, absolutely, we'll take care of them. If it's way far away, then I don't feel like I'm an expert. Like if it's somewhere I'm just like, I don't know that area, I will definitely, you know, pass them off to someone good. But I still get business. I haven't like scared people away, but they do recognize like, hey, I know you do a little bit, you know, this area or whatever, would you help? And it's like, of course, we'll take care of people. But I would say it is attracting more the right style of person as well, because I have had people that are like, okay, you immediately came to mind, like this is what we're looking for. And, you know, it's like based on the post and stuff that they saw like the area that we're working, and they're like, that's where we want to be. And so I feel like I would much rather have 10 or so people that all want to be in the area than to be like chasing random people like all over town. And it just makes it so much easier when you can kind of focus on a niche.
So Shannon, your content is fun and creative, and you're doing different things that I think are just like really fun, but also really smart. You know, so, some of these videos that you've done, like where does that creative process come from? Like, how do you come up with these ideas for these videos that you're doing? For instance, what was it? The Oprah giveaway, where like you get a home value. I mean, essentially like free home valuations, and free home valuation ads are just the most like overdone thing. I think like they used to work a couple years ago, and now just like nobody cares about the free home valuation ad. Yet you put this spin on it that was just so creative. And so like, where does that come from?
So I'm going to relate it back to being a teacher, and I was like a curriculum writer for a while, and basically like my job was to take content that is so boring that like a school age kid would not want to learn about, but like by law you're forced to teach them these concepts or whatever. So it's like, let's learn the 3 branches of Texas government, and you're 9 years old. It's like, all right. So I would take these concepts, and it's like lesson planning is very similar to a video. You need a hook, you need some kind of activity, some kind of an engagement, some action or whatever. And you want people to walk out with something that they learned. And so for me, if you can make it a little funny, you can bring in music, you can do like a skit, a story, I mean, whatever. There's just ways to vary it so that you keep people's attention. And so for like, I don't know, I mean, if let's say home equity, okay, that's the topic of that one. What kind of video could I make about home equity? So I could tell a story. So I could be like, hey, my latest client, one of our clients just found out they had this much equity, and guess what they're going to do with it? Kind of hook people into a real life example, or look at the house they got and like how much they used their equity and look what they got, and kind of an inspirational thing. It could be a funny thing, like someone cheering, whatever, because they got all this money in their home. It could be like, I mean, just whatever. It could be straightforward, like graphs. Did you know the average American has this much equity? So it's just lots of different ways that you can bring it in. So I kind of like, can I make it a story, real life story? Can I put a visual aid, of some sort of graph, a picture, whatever? Can it be like a skit, something funny, music? I mean, I just am always like just looking for fun ways to change it up. So yeah.
I really appreciate how you just named off so many different content ideas for one thing, right? And so I see that in your content. I see that when I look at your page and the things that you're posting. Like I've seen you do all of those things with equity reviews, either on your story or on a feed post, right? Green screen or using CapCut templates or different things like that. So I love how your brain works around that. Because a lot of times people are just like, equity review, like I need to do more of them. I'm just going to start calling people, and you're getting more hand raisers in addition to, your sphere and stuff like that. So that's amazing. I love that. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about your creative process. So again, as you just, kind of rattled off all of these things that you could do, for just an equity review, right? Like how do you determine like what you're going to do from the things that you just said, or like how do you, I don't honestly, I don't know where I'm going with this.
How do I decide which one of those to make?
Yeah, I mean, like you named off a ton of things, and like I find for me that when I'm going to make content, like a lot of times I have the idea of the message that I want to get across, but I'm just like I guess I'll just talk directly to the camera. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, how do you find the creativity behind what you're doing? There's the question.
And so I kind of look at like the post I'm going to do each week. I have like 3 main types of content that I'm trying to do, or styles of video, I guess. And so the idea is like, how do I want my audience to feel when they're on my page? So I want them to either be educated, inspired, or entertained. Just like in a classroom, I want people to like enjoy it and want to come back for more. You know, it's like I want the page to be like, oh, this is funny. I want to follow her. I want to see what else is going on. So educate would be like a news green screen, kind of straightforward talking head. Data inspire is going to be client storytelling, success stories. Look at this person, they just overcame this problem, and look what they got, or look at this awesome home, you know, that you could get. And then the entertain part is going to be more like a funnier spin on things, like trendy sounds, you know, realtor humor, that kind of stuff. It's sillier, but I like doing those just because they also get sometimes broader reach, you know, than like the specific client story of someone that just moved to Austin. But I think it's good to have like a balance of both, because people don't need to know that I don't just do like funny, silly lip sync stuff, but like, oh, she actually sells houses and does it, like knows what she's talking about. So I kind of just am looking for at least like one style, you know, of each a week. And I kind of, I honestly, it's just my mood and what, like when ideas kind of hit me. I will probably spend maybe 15 minutes or so each week. And I actually have a timer on screen time on Instagram, so I don't get sucked into a vortex of like, you know, just like 3 hours later, I just scrolled reels. But I go in there with a purpose of like, okay, for 15 minutes, I'm going to just scroll really quickly, see if there's like a funny trend or something that I can relate to or put a spin on, or just like, oh, that's a cool idea. And I'll just save it. A lot of my stuff is like inspired by what I saw other people do. And I try to also look at non-real estate agents as much as possible, like in different industries, because I think that helps me come up with better ideas. If someone did a funny thing, you know, but it's about like, I mean, something else, like a completely different industry. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Can I make it about real estate? What would it look like if it was a real estate agent in this scenario? I would say that's probably my best way of getting more creative, is to not look at only realtors, look outside the industry.
Well, I like that a lot. And one thing I see agents have is like a feed full of other real estate agents. And one of the things I love about your story is the fact that you went to a local Instagram influencer instead of going to a real estate coach. You're looking at content outside of real estate to try to bring it back into real estate. And so for people listening, I would ask, like, how much of your Instagram feed, if you scroll through it, is other agents? And some of that is going to take some training. You have to stop engaging with other agents' content and actively go seek out different things. So Instagram will start feeding that up for you. But I love that, because you're not going to find, I think, a lot of the greatest ideas from agents. You're going to find it from outside the industry.
I also found that like it is, I mean, of course I follow other agents too, but like one of the things that was super helpful was knowing who my audience was, because when I was first like, okay, I got to make these videos, I would just be like, okay, you know, here's some top realtor accounts to follow. And so I did that. I'm like following them, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing this thing about first time homeownership month, and every post is about that. Okay, cool. I'll do that. Well, now that I know like my audience is someone that's already got like a $600,000 home, they're hoping to upsize into that $800,000, $900,000 home. Why would I then be like, I'm going to talk about first time buyer, like what is escrow, what is, you know, all that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily match my page. And so it kind of helped me realize like, okay, the topics I need to think it from my ideal client, like they're going to want to know, how do I move without moving twice? Can I really upsize my mortgage payment with these rates? You know, what if I got this much for my house, what could I get, you know, on the other side? So those are more the topics that I would pick. Whereas beforehand, I was just like, oh, Katie did a cool topic, I'm going to talk about that. Or Tim did something, I'm just going to copy that. And you may be copying stuff that was a great video, but it doesn't match your like ideal person out there. So there's a disconnect.
Tim, I should go buy a soundboard because when you said Tim did a video, I would have the womp womp womp
You
I
sound.
mean
thought about it as
you,
I said it. I was like, oh wait.
no, you need to have that's the sound right there. That's
Well,
what
no,
I'm talking about.
I mean, if you made a video, that's the sound we would make. But
Listen, my donkeys video did well. Okay, the donkeys Mother's Day video, and Shannon, first thing she brought up was the tracksuit.
She was just trying to be kind. But Shannon, I love that point. And I think it's super important, again, just to always put yourself in the shoes of your potential client and like what would they want to see, how would they want to hear this, what does that look like for them. And we talked about it at Blueprint of like the you frame, right? Like you are doing this, not I'm doing this for you kind of thing. So super important. As far as talking a little bit on like the funny videos and things like that, because I've done a few. They're not funny, but like the wild hooks, of like the soccer ball getting kicked in your face and stuff like that. Like people are like, how do you do those? And so like I'll explain it to them, like how to cut down the video and get audio and stuff like that. How are you doing yours? Like just this isn't going to be a video tutorial, but like what are you doing? Like the Jimmy Fallon one was really funny. You've done a few others with like different filters and stuff. Like how are you creating those?
So I will screen record a video. I'm violating copyright. I know I'm doing that, but I'm just like, if I saw something funny, like I have one posted at the top of my page right now that's like me talking to Usher, and then I have one where I like blend into a Jimmy Fallon video or something. But I basically screen record that video that I want. And then I use CapCut to just kind of splice the two videos together. I just did a webinar today with Ian Williams, Ian of Austin, on some CapCut editing skills, which was super helpful. But it's like basically I will screen record a video, like start the conversation, and then I'll like film myself as if I'm having the conversation with the person. And then I'll just kind of, pair the videos like back and forth where it just looks like I'm having this conversation there. And then we'll put it into Instagram. I feel like CapCut's pretty simple, or it's like the easiest one to use. There's lots of other editors out there, but it's free and you can do a little bit more than editing in the Instagram app. That gets really frustrating for me, unless it's like really straightforward. But if I'm trying to like blend in a bunch of clips, I'd rather do it in CapCut for sure.
Well, and I only really use CapCut on my phone, but you can also use it on the computer as well. And so if it is something where you need like a bigger screen, or whatever it may be to figure out those timestamps and stuff, pulling it up on your computer can help as well. But I mean, I think that people are like, think that it's a very drawn out process. And I think it does require practice and you need to do it, more than once kind of thing. But it's once you kind of get it, it's easy.
A lot of those ideas, like the Jimmy Fallon one, I stole it from someone else. And even the Usher one, I saw someone, but they were like different industries. And I was just like, that is hilarious. And I was just like, okay, I know enough about the editing. I'm like, okay, it's a video of him and a video of this. So I'm like, but I just had to come up with the conversation. Like, what would I be saying in this conversation with this person? I also do a lot of like Michael Scott. If you're an Office fan, I have Michael as like one of my clients. So it could be like me educating, like him, like going, no, like freaking out because, rates are high or whatever. And then it's like, I'll just put clips of him, but like we're having this conversation together. So I follow like the Office page. I follow Seinfeld. You can follow things you like. I follow Jimmy Fallon because he does little silly, ridiculous, TikTok style things. And he does a lot of trendy things. So sometimes I'll just see something that's funny from the Tonight Show. And I'm just like, okay, I could make like a weird, just some kind of version of that. But it's stuff that's like upbeat and funny. And I think that also puts me in a good mood when I'm trying to create content, because mindset is everything too.
Well, and everything you're saying is also like kind of your target demographic, right? Like you're describing, like Tim and I are both like nodding our heads, and like, when I think about like, our homes and homes that we would move into, or like, oh, it's kind of the price points that, your areas that you're looking at. So yeah, this age group's a good age group to target.
Well, I like that you're figuring out ways to make your content things that you enjoy. Yeah. Because I find that if you're doing content that you enjoy doing, you're more likely to do more of it. And so I love that about what you're doing. But you do make these videos that I'm sure agents are going to go look at your profile and look at, and they're going to say, okay, like this is cool, but like, how does it generate business? Like, why would somebody watch the Jimmy Fallon video and call Shannon? So like, give me an idea.
Oh wait, no, wait. Before we move on, I think the
Yeah.
other thing that's really important about what you said too is like the trend jacking aspect of things. And so like I'm pretty sure you posted the Usher one near the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Ish time frame, you know, and so like Usher was on everyone's mind. So it was like a very timely topic and funny because it was like back from, you know, 2000 whatever of his music video. So
Yeah, and
I like
that's where
that.
I think, like I said, I try to plan out my videos. I'm not great about batching like months in advance because most of my stuff is just like, here's what's happening right now. And it's like kind of what you see happening is what's happening in my life. You know, it's a lot of like my stories or what's happening during the day. I'm posting about real sales, real clients as I'm going through it, questions that I get asked. So I'm usually planning like a week or two out and I kind of brainstorm beginning of the month. But like I said, each week I will spend maybe 15 minutes scrolling through just the explore page and seeing what's new, looking at some of my favorite creator accounts. And that's where I kind of like, oh, that's a funny trend. I don't do every trend because some of them I can't stand. And it's like, I don't want to just do trends for the sake of it. But it's just like, if I'm like, that's funny, I will save it. So I have a whole bunch of reels that I have saved, probably like, 100 or so in there. I also have songs that I save on a playlist. So if I just need help, like, okay, what's an idea? I think of like, what are the topics my clients have asked me about this last week, upcoming, what do I have in my schedule? Okay, these are all topics I can talk about. And then it's like, for the inspiration, then go back and look at some of the stuff you've saved. And that just helps me get the like creative juices going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being in the mix. Well, no, I think it was a great point, Katie, because I do think the Usher video did so well because of the timeliness of it. And I do think that, again, you said it again, Shannon, where you are jumping on the trends, but not all of them. Like you're jumping on the ones that you like and the ones that you think are funny, because you shouldn't just go do the thing for the result. You have to do the thing you enjoy, because the content you enjoy making is the content you're going to make well. Right. And then my question was, before Katie just steamrolled
sorry, we just went way off.
Steamrolled me.
Well, and so I would be curious to know, like,
you just go.
Sorry, I was just going to steal it again, just to be a jerk.
No, go ahead. But I think I ran into the same thing back when I made videos, and I would do the video of me on the scooter, and everybody loved it, and all that other fun stuff. But I have
that was like 2017.
I'd have agents look at me and be like, hey, "Do people actually call you because you put out this video? Like, does that? No way anybody's actually calling you because you did this Usher video." So I want you to just dive in a little bit to like, what's business look like when it comes in from social media?
Yeah. So like last year, we did, it wasn't like a ton. We did like 13 sales that came directly through Instagram. And then there's others where like Instagram helped. And we have other lead sources. I have a geo farm, I have past clients and other stuff like that. But that was still like a pretty significant amount of like business coming from one pillar there. And this year, I want to say we have like 6 or 7 already that are like under contract or moving forward. And it is people direct messaging me. It could be people like new followers I get that I'm greeting. One video is not going to get you like all the business. So it's not like, okay, you posted a cool video in 2017 or whatever that Katie just said. It has to be, it has to be consistent, just like sending postcards to a geo farm. I heard someone else call it video farming. So people need to see you like consistently to build up like the trust, the rapport, and like, okay, I trust her, I like her style, I relate to her, whatever. Then they're going to feel more comfortable reaching out to you. So it is definitely like a long game thing. Don't just like, okay, I'm going to try making videos for a couple weeks. Oh, it didn't work, and move on. Like you need to try it for a long time, and just be consistent. And then the main thing is it's a social network for Instagram. So you cannot that's where you shift from just like putting out ads, like open house, or just sold. Like that's just to me like an ad. But like the content, try to find a way to like ask for engagement, drop a word here below, tag a friend, share this to your story, reply to all the comments before I post. You can also go and look at like who you're following, like your clients, and maybe not other agents, but like look at like clients, the people in your audience that you want to engage with, locals, like their stories, go through there, kind of warm it up, show some love to their accounts. They're more likely to respond back to you. And just engage with people. And so that's my whole goal is for each video. It's like, okay, do I want to make them laugh? Do I want them to ask me a question? Do I want them to message me? Like, what is the purpose of this video? But it's the power of all of them together that is where you start having success.
I absolutely love when people are doing content at a high level and getting business from it, how casually you just named off so many different things. Like people are probably rewinding to be like, wait. Okay, so she goes on and she likes other people's stuff. She comments on people's things. She DMs people. No, it's amazing because it's like for you, it's just second nature. It's something that you've developed over time, right? But like I can almost guarantee people are rewinding to be like, whoa, what did she just say? And so, I think that engagement prior to posting is important. Being on the platform and being social, responding to comments is paramount. Like there are so many things that you're doing that you've developed over time that, encourage people to message you. And the thing that I love most about what you just said is that before you even post anything, you're like, what is my end result? Or am I looking for them to do something? And like, not every video you're looking for them to do something, right? It could just be a funny video that you want them to like and just keep you top of mind. But like, are you trying to get a DM? Are you trying to get them to raise their hand for information or for something like that? Can you share your CRM tip? Because like say you do get a DM and I say, Shannon, I want to buy a house in Austin, and we DM for back and forth for a little while. And then like, it either falls off or, you forget to respond. Like, what do you do in your CRM for social?
So ideally when I am DMing somebody, I want to get them off of the DMs as quickly as possible. Like get them into a Zoom meeting, a phone call, something else. Think of it as like an open house. You're just like, hey, where are you from? Whatever. But ideally you're wanting their contact information so you can take the conversation elsewhere. So I will try to, like, if we're just talking back and forth and I find out, okay, yeah, someone's moving here, they're renting for a while. I'm just like, okay, great. If do you plan on getting a home here or whatever? And then my goal is to just casually just say, hey, if you have like 10 minutes, I'd love to talk to you about what it takes to get into a home in the market right now. How open would you be? And just drop a Zoom link. I'm trying to just like put something in there, like our Calendly link is what it is. It's like they can book an appointment on my calendar. If they're like, not right now, like ways off or whatever, you can flag that message as a lead. You can go up there and save it, mark it, and you can save it as a lead. The leads will disappear. They only show when you go to your messages, you can say filter by lead, and it should show you the flagged ones, but only the ones that have been active in the last 30 days. So I also, as another loophole, is just add that person's handle to my CRM, whatever database you're using. I will put that person's name. So I have like Marie, and I don't know her last name because it's like Marie 23, blah, 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 but I'm like, okay, Marie is in there. She is a warm. I know that she is renting. I know that she's in this area. I know that she said she wanted a home, but it's just like, I don't have her phone number yet. But when I'm going through like call list and it's like, okay, we're going through our hots, our warms, it's like, oh, let me just go over to Instagram. Let me just like see what she's doing, like a story, do something. And it doesn't have to be like I'm asking her a real estate question, but it's just somehow like a reminder, like engage with her. And then she's more likely, if you're whoever you want to engage with, if you're like, God, locals are not engaging with me, you should be engaging with locals because they'll be seeing you more often in their stories and in their feed.
Tell me more about that. So when you say engaging with locals, what are you doing beyond people that are just commenting on your profile and stuff like that?
I ask people like I try to greet people when they start following my page, just like, oh, hey, thanks for following me. If I see that they're from Austin, I'm just like, oh, cool. You live in Austin. How long have you been here? It's just like a kind of like you observe something in their profile and then just ask a question about it. If they, own a local business, like I follow a lot of also like my past clients, any person I've met at an open house, whatever, I'm trying to get them to follow me and connect with me on Instagram. And then I'll ask, like, do you have a local business, whatever? So I might follow their business. I might take like a post that they did and just reply a nice comment back. Or like one of them had a baby recently. Oh, congrats. Just sending like nice messages, like what you would probably do on Facebook or something, but it's just interacting with their post, liking stuff, liking their stories, replying back with a comment, if it's a picture of their dog, whatever. I just go in there and just kind of engage with them and just, leave some kind like words and comments and stuff. they're more likely to then see, okay, Shannon just posted, and they're going to be looking at my page more frequently. So I show more love to locals than I do like other agents, even though I might like Tim's Duncan suit. I'm more likely to like, I'm going to strategically try to get in there and like really hone in on some of the people that I know are like my clients and stuff that I just are potential clients that I'm trying to keep top of mind.
No, that's super important. And I think that a lot of times as agents start to create more content and things like that, like then they get agent followings. And so that's a great way to continue to train your algorithm to stay focused on your local market, as opposed to, you know, it being just kind of an all over thing.
Yeah, I do have a lot. I probably have majority agents following me, and that's great too because you do get referrals, and I do get a lot of like Instagram like referrals from other agents as well. But it's just like I said, to keep in mind if you're like I'd rather see more locals than post more about local stuff, and just like really hone in on who are my locals and just make sure that they're like you're more likely to get their friends and family and everything following you if that's who you're like really trying to focus on.
Yeah.
So I love the journey. I love that you're getting, you know, direct Instagram deals. What's it look like for your SOI deals? What's it look like for the people that already know you? How do you see your content amplifying that side of the business?
It's definitely just staying top of mind. Like I posted something recently that was like a funny one. It was a Michael Scott clip of like where he gets his tax bill and he's like freaking out. And I'm just like, oh, he doesn't know that you can, you know, get a homestead exemption and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you know, a lot of the local people were seeing that. And then they're like, I saw your video, you know, and so I had like some past clients who are like, hey, can you check my tax bill? Can you do this? Can you do that? And so it just definitely helps you stay top of mind. I do get some past client referrals. I will have like repeat past clients where there's like, hey, we're thinking about selling now or whatever. So I just think it's a way of not losing touch with people. It's so easy to lose touch with people if they, you know, once you're done with the transaction. So this is just like an easy thing if they're already on Instagram, like just connect with them, and that way they're at least seeing you consistently, you know, and so I think it's just a way of continuing that conversation for like years down the road.
I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
You made your video about the house your parents lived in since you were 5 years old.
Yes.
Tell me about that video because it went bananas, right?
Yeah.
And it took off. Tell me about the video and then tell me like why. Like why did this video hit? Because it's not highly produced. It's not like it doesn't, you know, if I watched all your videos not knowing which one blew up, I probably wouldn't pick that one. So what do you think it was about that video that made it take off?
So this video, first off, you don't know, it was just a video of me in my parents' kitchen. And I was just filming, like I was over there visiting them. They've lived in the same house for 40 years, which I don't get into my age, but this was the house that I had as a kid and grew up in. And they still have like everything. I opened up a drawer. I was looking for something, and they still had my little lunchbox in there, a strawberry shortcake lunchbox. And then I opened up their, you know, cabinets, and they still have these Looney Tune glasses that I think we probably got at Pizza Hut or something like that. But it just brought back all these memories. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it just made me happy, you know, for a moment. So I just filmed this little video of like what I found. The backstory was that my mom's wasn't doing well. She was going through surgery, cancer. I was like down in San Antonio. It was like super stressful. And I was like in a bad funk, like just feeling depressed. And so I had not been posting like consistently. It's like hard to post like, okay, I want to do something fun when you feel like crap. And so I was just like, part of it was also like, I just need to post something. Like it has just been depressing, whatever. I'm in hospitals. I'm just like, whatever. And so I just posted that, and it got like 200 something thousand views, and like all these people are just like, oh my gosh. And a lot of it was strangers. I can't say I got like a deal from it or whatever, but I got so much love and support from even just like past clients, and were like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And people like, oh wow, I've lived in that house, and just, or I had a house like that, or I had, you know, the same glasses or whatever. And the other people are like, oh my gosh, I'd give anything to still be able to go back to my parents' home. So it just hit a chord, I think, of like just emotions and family and whatever. And it made me feel good because I was like, I literally was at a loss of what to post because of all this stuff happening. But I'm just glad I did it. And that's what I would say is like, if you're having a rough time, just post something. Like people just need to see it could be raw, it could be unthought out. Like I didn't plan that. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to share this because it made me feel good, kind of in a dark moment.
I love that. And what I love is that you said that thing that struck a chord with people.
Yeah.
And there was something in it that resonated with people. And I don't think a lot of times we spend enough thought around what's going to resonate with people. And a lot of times we want things to resonate with people. We want the new build community to resonate with people, and people don't care, you know? And so it's not the content that we want to resonate with people that always does. But if we focus more on like, what do people care about? What do they actually care about? Like nostalgia, I think, is an underutilized source of engagement. But it's like, you know, we kind of have to get out of our own way of like, what content do we want people to engage with, and focus on the content that they want to engage with, not the content that we want them to.
And that one surprised me because I didn't really, like I said, I was just literally so depressed, and I was like, you know what, this just made me smile and laugh. And I was like, I'm just going to share this. So like, if to me, it's like, if something makes you feel good, if something makes you laugh, just share it. You can put it in your stories. Doesn't even have to be like a feed type thing. Like, but just put it out there. You know, just put something out there. If you're going through hard times, you can post it in your stories. You maybe don't want to post all that in your feed, what's going on in your personal life, but you could post what's going on in your stories, and it makes you so much more relatable. Even if you're like, I'm at home sick, this happened, that happened, whatever. Like, just people are like, oh my God, me too. This, you know, like they just want to know that you're human, and that they can relate to what you're going through.
And the other thing, if we like really dissect that one video, it was interesting because it's like, hey, you know, my parents have lived in the same house since I was 5, and like you have that thing up there. So like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then you see the Looney Tunes glasses, and you're like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. And then you go down and you pull out the lunchbox, and you're like, no way, that's the same lunchbox that she had when she was a kid. And then you can kind of see your name scribbled on the handle. And so what I love about it is we always talk about like a great hook. And what that video has is great buildup. Like you have a little bit and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And it like just keeps getting a little bit better, even though you didn't even probably realize you were doing it at the time. But like, I think that's the thing on that video too. It's like, oh, that old cabinet. I think I had old cabinets like that. Oh, look at those Looney Tunes glasses. I remember those Looney Tunes. Oh,
there's
my goodness.
An old mixer, this old green, like avocado green mixer that my mom had from like the 70s or whatever. And it was down in there, and someone was like, OMG, I had the same mixer, but mine was yellow or this or that. And so I just had so many comments, and I tried so hard to like reply back to everyone again. I think it's so important, even if it's like a silly comment or just like a heart comment, just always like go back and engage with people and stuff. But yeah, it's just, it shows people relate to emotions, they relate to people. And I think that's why you need like the power of like video and just showing more into your life and like what you're going through behind the scenes, whatever. Like it just makes you so much more relatable, and where people can relate to your journey and experience.
1,000%.
I think nostalgia is something you are doing in a lot of your content, whether it's the strategy or not. But like the Usher thing is nostalgia, that post is nostalgia. The Office, unfortunately, like you know,
I'm so old.
So you know, I think that's such a great thing is people love. I love people of our generation love.
You can follow nostalgia accounts too, which I do.
Yeah.
So if you look up like millennial account, 80s, 90s, whatever, I do a lot of like 90s throwback stuff because I'm like, I graduated in the late 90s, but a lot of my clients did too. So we're kind of all in that same age range that it's like relatable. So yeah, I follow some of those nostalgia sites just because it's like I said, it's fun, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that song, I haven't heard that in like forever. And then I'll get an idea off a song or something.
That's what I was gonna say is I feel like you've done a good job with some of the older songs, you know, of the ones that I'm like, oh God, I haven't heard that in forever. And that was a good tie into real estate. Like, so, you know, I love that.
Controversy. I listened to the new Taylor Swift album. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I listened to it at an open house and I was like, okay, Taylor Swift. I do have a lot of stuff I've done with her videos and I'm just like, I'm not feeling this new album. I don't know. Sorry. That'll blow up the chat and comments if we have chats and comments, I'm sure.
I don't think we have a lot of Swifties listening to the pod.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll know when we get canceled because of Shannon.
Actually, we're at a point where getting canceled would probably be a good thing because like the audience can only grow. And so if there was a big move to cancel REVB, I mean, we would probably just end up with more followers because we don't have that many.
Yeah, we'd have 5 people listening instead of the 4 that do right now. So
yeah, that could be a good strategy. I'll go get canceled. I'll go say something really stupid over the next couple of days. That should work out great.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Shannon, for that wonderful idea. But on a more sincere note, thank you so much for sharing today. I always love hearing about your journey and just the things that you're doing again, because I think it just at this point comes second nature to you. But there are so many things today that you unpacked that I think people will have taken many notes, and I hope that they implement in their businesses because Instagram has certainly been a success for you in building your brand and growing your business. So thank you.
Also, for people who are interested in hearing more from Shannon, I love your Instagram for normal people class that you're doing inside of Real Academy. So if you're interested in that, definitely DM Shannon on the gram. Is that probably the best place to find you?
Yeah, we're at the.mangin.team. So yeah, just follow me, send me a message. And if you want to learn, like ask me more questions, I'm always open to sharing. So yeah.
For sure. And I think you've got something really, really cool going on there. So I'm hoping more people hop on it. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on.
All right. Thank you guys.